there's no turning back.
What's up, all you Morphin Maniacs in the Morphin Grid? This is Thetazord, the Theta Ranger, coming back to you from the Morphin Grid. We're going to be checking out the top 10, my top 10 list of the most underrated and underutilized TV shows from the 80s and 90s. If you grew up in that era, you know what I'm talking about. We had the good stuff. We had the prime meat in that era. So we're going to get to it. This is my Morphin list of the top 10 underrated TV shows from the 80s and 90s. It's Morphin time. And we start out with number 10. We got Super Force, started in 1990 to 1992. It was a syndicated series. The premise was it was in the near future, in the 2020s. That's where we live today, where advanced technology is integrated into everyday life. The plot summary is there is a former astronaut, Zachary Stone, who returns to Earth after a mission to Mars and finds his brother has been murdered. Dissatisfied with the justice system's inability to solve the case, he takes matters into his own hands. As you do, Zachary dons his high-tech armored suit equipped with various weapons and gadgets and rides a powerful and super cool motorcycle. Number 9, we have Mantis, Mantis. It is, I believe, the first black superhero on television, from what I can recall anyway. The setting is in the fictional urban areas with themes of crime and corruption. It has Dr. Miles Hawkins, a brilliant African-American scientist, paralyzed from the waist down from a police shooting. Using his genius, he develops a powerful exoskeleton suit that not only allows him to walk, but also gives him superhuman abilities. Hawkins takes on the identity as Mantis, the mechanically augmented neurotransmitter interception system, and begins fighting crime and corruption in his city. Throughout the series, he faces various threats, including advanced technology and even supernatural elements. Up on number 8, we got Knight Rider 2000. Now, this wasn't an actual TV series, but they were trying to make it into a new TV series. This is a sequel to the original Knight Rider that had Kit, but it was a new vehicle. It wasn't the same old Kit that we knew and loved, which is, I think, part of the reason why it wasn't as successful, and it was just made into a made-for-TV movie. It was intended as a pilot for a potential series, but it didn't go through. The movie set in the year 2000, where traditional handguns have been banned and criminals are frozen in cryogenic sleep. Now we got number 7, Total Recall 2070. This is a show that I saw was on, but I never actually caught a lot of episodes. I did see a little bit of it, but it is not based on Total Recall. It was actually meant to be a Blade Runner TV show that I don't understand why they didn't go with it, but the entire plot of the TV show is Blade Runner. It has nothing really to do with Total Recall group at all. It's based on a book by Philip K. Dick, and the series is in a dystopian future in the year 2070, obviously. Next, we got number 6, The Outer Limits, the 1990s version, the newer version. It is a TV show that was made as an anthology series with different stories of science fiction, horror, and oddities. March 26, 1995 to January 18th, 2002. It started out on a Showtime Sci-Fi, then moved to Sci-Fi Channel. It had a number of seasons, 7 to be exact, 152 episodes. Obviously, it's a revival of the classic 1960s The Outer Limits show that featured standalone episodes, each telling of a self-contained story that involved science fiction, horror, and fantasy themes. The show explored complex moral dilemmas, the impact of technology, and the nature of humanity itself. There's nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. This show, number 5, we've got RoboCop, the 1994 TV series. It is set in the dystopian future. There's a good theme going on here with dystopian futures, don't you think? In Detroit this time, where crime is rampant and the powerful megacorporation Omni Consumer Products, OCP, controls much of the city. RoboCop, the series, allows and follows Alex Murphy, a Detroit police officer who was brutally killed and subsequently resurrected as the cyborg law enforcement officer RoboCop. Unlike the original films, the series was toned down in terms of violence and dark themes to make it suitable for a wider television audience. If you've seen the original movie, you know what I'm talking about. They took it to the max with that thing. That's why it's such a classic movie. But this series is really good. I think you should give it a chance. Check it out if you don't know anything about it. And if you're enjoying this content, you know what to do. Hit the like bell, click that shit, and subscribe. Share it out to as many people as possible. We'll get back to the program. It's morphin' time. Number 4, The Crow, Stairway to Heaven. We've got not Brandon Lee, obviously. Tragically, he lost his life in the making of the classic. It's set in the urban, gritty environment where crime and corruption are rampant, echoing the tone of the original Crow comic book by James O'Barr, following the series of Eric Draven, the rock musician who is resurrected by a mystical crow after he and his fiancée Shelley Webster are brutally murdered by a gang of criminals. Draven returns to the world of the living to seek vengeance on those responsible for their deaths and to find redemption so that he can be reunited with Shelley in the afterlife. The show expands on the premise of the original 1994 film, exploring Draven's struggles with his supernatural abilities and his quest for justice, as well as his interactions with the living as he walks the line between life and death. This is a show that really nails the arts and the style of the original movie. I highly suggest it. That's why it's so high on the list. Go watch this show. Number 3, we've got
if you like the
Sliders, a TV show from 1995 to 2000. It was in syndication. It was on primetime TV for a long time. The setting takes place across a multitude of parallel universes, each with its own unique version of Earth where history has unfolded differently. The story follows a group of 4 characters who slide between parallel universes using a device created by Quinn Mallory, a physics student who is the brains of the operation, played by Jerry O'Connell. Each episode features a group landing in a new, often strange and dangerous parallel world, trying to find their way back to their original Earth, referred to as Earth Prime. Not Optimus Prime, but Earth Prime. Along the way, they encounter alternate versions of themselves and historic events that drastically are different outcomes than the ones they know themselves from their original Earth. The group must adapt to each world's challenges while racing against time to slide to the next universe before the portal closes. It was a brilliant show. It was one that is up there with Star Trek: The Next Generation. I just don't think it gets enough love. It stars Quinn Mallory, a physics genius, as I said, Professor Maximilian Arturo, a brilliant, sometimes curmudgeonly science physicist and mentor of Quinn, Wade Wells, a personal friend of Quinn and a love interest who is also along for the journey. And then we got Rembrandt Crying Man Brown, professional singer who accidentally becomes part of this group and provides some comic relief, played by Clevant Derricks. Maggie Beckett is a military officer who joins the group in their later seasons, and Colin Mallory, which is Jerry O'Connell's actual brother, Quinn's brother in the show, joins the team in season 4. Number 2, we've got a new technology that was forced into a toy line, that was forced into a TV show, that was forced onto a group of writers who wanted to write a story that was dramatic, dark, that was gritty, that had such depth, but they were forced to use this toy and this new system to promote the toy as opposed to writing good shows, which is not to say that they didn't get to write good shows, because that's why it's number 2. It's Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. And in this, in 1987 to 1988, this show was in syndication on primetime TV. The setting was in another dystopian future in the year 2147 after the Metal Wars. Not metal as in rock and roll, but we're talking about metal like Lord Dredd and his group of machines. The Machine Empire, where intelligent machines led by the evil Lord Dredd had taken over much of the world. Humanity is on the brink of extinction, and it follows Jonathan Powers, a heroic leader known as Captain Power, who leads a small band of freedom fighters known as the Soldiers of the Future. The Soldiers of the Future are equipped with high-tech power suits that grant them special abilities to fight against Lord Dredd and his Bio-Dread Empire, which seeks to eradicate the remaining humans and fully digitize humanity. Sounds a lot like The Matrix to me, but they had a great team of writers, and if you watch just 2 episodes, or even just the first episode, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They had such depth. It's a lot like Star Trek The Next Generation in that way as well, where they didn't cater to kids. It was about the TV program, it was about the writing, it was about making a good show, and it just never got enough love to get a second season. Number 1, and it's a little sneak in here because I think a lot of people have seen the love and the cult classic it has become, but I am talking about Twin Peaks for number 1, a David Lynch and Mark Frost production. They created this. David Lynch is one of the most intelligent people I've ever heard speak. He has such out-of-the-box thinking, and it's just made his career such a blessing to have watched growing up. The main plot, it's a series that begins with the discovery of a body. The body of Laura Palmer, a popular high school student in the small town of Twin Peaks. And FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper is called to investigate the murder, uncovering a web of secrets, supernatural elements, and the town's dark underbelly. And there is a dark underbelly to be uncovered here, folks. Season 2, the investigation into Laura Palmer's murder continues, leading into the revelation of her killer. I will not spoil it for you because you need to go see this for yourself. But you need to know about Agent Cooper. He is a badass. He is a hilarious protagonist. He is the soul of the show. And that's not to say that the rest of the cast doesn't have anything to do, because the rest of the cast are just as important. He's just the main character that you're following, that you wish you were. He is the agent that has a sense of humor, but he also has a foreknowledge of things. He's just so intelligent. He's such a great FBI agent, coming to solve the murder of Laura Palmer. And I won't spoil anything for you, but you have to go see this. If you have never seen or heard anything about Twin Peaks, go watch it now. Forget everything else I've said in this video. Go watch Twin Peaks first and foremost. And so there's my list of top 10 underrated 80s and 90s video TV shows that we were lucky enough to check out on our own when we were little. Go check them out right now, especially number 1. It's Morphin' Time. Like and subscribe.